Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the online Global Environmental Studies, our fall science course. I'm Dawn Murray, and I am the professor of the class. I'm also the chair of the undergraduate studies program at Antioch University. So if I have not met you, I hope you come by and say hello. I'm going to go over the syllabus with you first, and I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. All right, so the syllabus is in Sakai posted, and our course is really an environmental studies overview. So it's framing political, economic, social issues that affect the environment. And you'll develop a broad understanding of ecology, geology, and biology. We're going to examine environmental issues and the science of ecology on a local to global scale. And you'll also learn about the natural history of Santa Barbara, the habitats, some global processes involved in controlling some phenomena such as climate change and ocean acidification. And we also have a field trip. So in this course, all of your syllabi end up looking the same. You've figured out. We're going to cover critical thinking and social justice, and the third is self-awareness. Now, obviously, we cover diverse perspectives and applied learning and communication as well, but the core purposes that we focus on are highlighted in yellow. So a lot of this class has to do with reading information, scientific information, and asking critical questions. What are the assumptions from this data? Why didn't they look at X? Did they look at Y? I would have thought that Z would have been important. You're really looking at information and trying to see it from all sides. So you will be challenged in critical thinking. And then also in social justice. So right now, this is a really exciting time to be studying the environment because we have a big movement going on with our youth, our global youth who are demonstrating and marching and really making a stand, telling the lawmakers and governments of the world that they need to do more. So I don't know if any of you participated in the last 2 Fridays. We had climate marches. There's a lot of things you can do locally that will get you much more involved in what's happening here and how that affects the world. So there's a lot of environmental justice issues that will come up. In addition, the self-awareness piece, I really am going to want you to try to look at your own behavior and see if there's things that you could adapt or modify or change. Are there things that you buy regularly that you really could do without that are wrapped in plastic? Could you write letters to people about how they package? For example, Trader Joe's has a lot of packaging in some of their items, and ask them to stop using that packaging. So that's what this self-awareness piece is. You're going to grow, you're going to learn, and I want you to see maybe what you could do a little bit differently. The required reading is The Principles of Environmental Science by Cunningham and Cunningham. There's multiple editions, so as long as you focus on the chapter that covers the topic that we're going over that week, or those chapters for that week, you will be fine with really any edition. There's also an edition in the library. So in terms of learning objectives, we're going to analyze connections between environmental issues and political, social, economic constraints by evaluating evidence. So that's that critical thinking piece. You're also going to analyze ecological concepts and environmental issues and integrate those into your class discussions, which will be online forums. Demonstrating critical analysis, so that's also critical thinking. So taking what you've read in the book with what you read out in the news, with maybe talking to people and seeing what their concepts are and figuring out what's real, where the data is coming from, who's citing these sources, etc. Number 3 is you're going to actually participate in the political communication process, and you're going to form advocacy letters. So that is something I'll talk about more later. And you're going to understand the most important environmental challenges today and how we can work towards solving these problems, articulating your role. So that's a big self-awareness piece. In terms of assessment, you're going to read the entire chapter and the learning objectives at the beginning of each chapter so that you know what you should be able to understand. One issue students sometimes have is that the text is dense with scientific information and they're not used to reading such material. So what I suggest is you start with the learning outcomes at the beginning of the chapter, and then you go through the chapter and you read all of the captions and you look at all of the pictures and the graphs and the figures, and you see if you can see what the point is of all of those first. And then you can go back through the chapter and look at all the bold words. Those are words that maybe you haven't heard before. And you keep a list of those so that as the course goes on, you have kind of a vocabulary list, and that when concepts are brought up, you can go back to your own sheet. Every week, you're going to post answers for an online practice quiz for each chapter, and that's always going to be due Wednesday at noon online. In addition, you're going to participate in weekly forums with your classmates on topics from the reading that I'll post. And your first 200 words submittal is due Thursday at noon, and then you have a response that's due Sunday at midnight. And that pattern is the same each week. So Wednesday by noon, your quiz, Thursday by noon, your first post, and Sunday by midnight, your second. Your advocacy letters are due week 4 and 8. You have a final 3-minute video in week 10 about how this information has changed a behavior or a major learning for you in this class. So in addition, there's numerous environmental events in our community this quarter that are listed on the syllabus. So I really encourage you to come to those. Those could either be extra credit or count for your work that week. And then you would look through the weekly material on the syllabus. So the syllabus is going to really be your guiding piece of work on the website that you follow. And that'll tell you how to navigate and what is due each week. The other thing I want to show you is our website. So you should all have our Global Environmental Studies course site in your Sakai. And this is welcoming you and hoping that you're going to be inspired to make some life changes. And we will have a field trip Sunday, November 24th. So mark your calendars. If you already know that you can't attend, please let me know. And we will figure out another date that we can add for people. If you're taking this class from a different university of Antioch, maybe Antioch, LA, or Seattle, just email me and I will come up with a solution. So you're wanting to look at the lessons tool, which is on your left, and that's where you will follow along with everything we do. So each week there'll be a lesson in this tool. So I'm going to upload this video here, and it links to the forums. So this is an area that you want to pay attention to. So I'm going to stop sharing right now, upload this video, and see if I can answer any questions.